Hi, hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today we're going to be talking about the expulsion of Danielle from newjeans, what this means for her, and what this new move by ador could mean for newjeans going forward. There's a lot to unpack, so without further ado, let's get started. Newjeans have been actively demanding since September 2024 that Min Hee-jin be reinstated as CEO of ador, stating that if this did not happen, they would leave hybe. On October 30, 2025, the Korean court ruled in favor of ador, forcing all 5 members to respect their contracts until 2029, and effectively putting an end to their plans to terminate their contracts with the company. Despite this, what seemed straightforward was anything but. As much as hybe wanted them back, the members themselves did not want to return, and although a judge forced them to do so, ador reserved the right to decide whether it actually wanted certain members to come back or not. On November 12, an official statement was released announcing that Hae-rin and Hyun had decided to respect the court ruling and return to ador. Meanwhile, Minji, Danielle, and hanni announced their intention to return through Korean media outlets. However, what raised eyebrows was the fact that ador did not break this news themselves, it came from the press instead. This likely suggests that ador was not aware that the other 3 members intended to return, which says a lot about their true intentions, because the logical first step would have been to communicate this directly to the company rather than through the media. Ador later responded by stating that they were verifying the authenticity of the members' intentions, as ultimately no one had contacted them directly to confirm that they truly wanted to return after the court ruled against them. Since then, nothing had been heard, as the 3 members and their families were holding meetings to discuss how to proceed, and see if they were really interested in returning. We were all surprised when, on December 29, ador released the following statement. Following the court's final ruling in the lawsuit confirming the validity of the exclusive contracts, ador has held extensive discussions with Minji, hanni, Danielle, and the families of the 3 members. Hanni visited Korea with her family and engaged in long, in-depth conversations with ador. In the process, we revisited past events and took time to view matters objectively. After candid talks, hanni decided to respect the court's ruling and continue with ador. Minji is also in talks with ador, and discussions are ongoing to broaden mutual understanding. In Danielle's case, we determined that it would be difficult to continue together as a newjeans member and an ador artist, and today we notified her of the termination of her exclusive contract. In addition, we plan to pursue legal accountability for one member of Danielle's family and former CEO Min Hee-jin, who bears significant responsibility for precipitating this dispute, and for newjeans' departure and delayed return. Through these conversations, ador learned that, over a long period, the members had been continuously exposed to distorted and biased information, which led to many misunderstandings about the company and ultimately to this dispute. The company and the artists agree that, to regain the love of fans and the public, it is necessary, even if it takes some time, to fully dispel these misunderstandings based on accurate facts. We have also agreed to find an opportunity to address the various controversies that arose during the dispute, and are discussing the timing and manner. Ador will do its utmost to bring this matter to an amicable conclusion, and to ensure that newjeans can return to fans as soon as possible. Many people were surprised. Why is Danielle the only one out of the 5 members who was not readmitted to the group? Is this a personal act of retaliation by hybe aimed at dividing the members, or was it Danielle who ultimately refused to accept the conditions and hybe, seeing that they already had 4 out of 5 members secured, decided to remove her from the group? This is something we will realistically never know for sure, but we can speculate, since from the very beginning Minji, Danielle, and hanni seemed to be the ones leading the group when it came to the legal dispute, not only because they are the oldest, but also because they were the most outspoken, while the 2 younger members appeared to be dragged along by the situation. Something that was also evident when Hae-rin and Hyun were announced by ador as returning without taking the other members into account. It has also been revealed that the other members did not know that Danielle was going to be expelled from the group. We do not know whether they would have chosen a different path had they known the 5 of them would not remain together, but considering that 2 of them returned directly to ador and the other 3 later released another statement announcing the same intention, it gives me the impression that their relationship is not as strong as it once was. There are also rumors that Minji may not be in a good position. The fact that a statement was released announcing 2 completely different outcomes, with hanni inside the group and Danielle out, could be a way of putting pressure on Minji to either accept the conditions or leave the group altogether, which adds another layer of tension to the situation. From this point on, I want to make it very clear that everything mentioned is based on rumors, and the source of most of what I am about to say is Lee Jin-ho, a YouTuber who frequently talks about K-pop and brings new information to the table, information that is sometimes accurate and sometimes has led to him being sued for spreading false claims, so everything should be taken with a grain of salt. People started talking about the part where it was said that legal action would be taken against Danielle for more than $30 million, also against Min Hee-jin, which is nothing new, and against a member of Danielle's family, who is rumored to be her mother, who is known to be a key collaborator in the alleged tampering involving former Adore CEO Min Hee-jin. So her situation may indeed have been different from that of the other members. It was also revealed that Danielle allegedly signed a contract without Adore's authorization or knowledge, and although the company demanded that this be corrected, Danielle did not resolve the situation, even though I am not sure how reliable the source of this information is. According to these reports, there were 3 grounds on which Danielle's contract was terminated: 1. Entering into another contract, 2. Engaging in independent entertainment activities, and 3. Damaging the reputation and credibility of newjeans. It is said that Danielle lost the trust not only of Adore but also of her own group members, since she independently signed a snack advertisement in Southeast Asia and other regions, and was close to renewing her contract as an ambassador for a Japanese watch brand without involving Adore. However, Adore immediately sent their managers and stopped the process. Afterwards, she continued appearing with a watch promoted by the singer Sean during marathons and volunteer activities, reportedly receiving commissions from it. It is also claimed that Danielle's mother, allegedly an accomplice of Min Hee-jin, was involved in newjeans' unilateral departure and in the breach of contracts, and even attempted to sign overlapping contracts without authorization with a local agency and with Chinese investors, which is why Adore would now be taking legal action against her. In the middle of all this, the father of member Hyun, who is known to have been excluded from custody matters in this situation, managed to convince Hyun and Hae-rin to return to the group. However, Danielle's mother allegedly continued with deliberate obstruction strategies even regarding the return of the other 3 members, which further complicated the entire situation and deepened the internal divide. What I see here is that there is an attempt to place the blame for all the bad decisions made by the members on Danielle's mother. If this were actually true, what it looks like to me is that hanni, in order to be able to return, shifted the responsibility onto Danielle's mother, which then resulted in Danielle being expelled. Because honestly, all of the girls have done things that could justify being removed from the group, but so far Adore has only expelled Danielle, even though they technically have reasons to remove all of them, although that would obviously not benefit the company. So the question is, why Danielle? Is it because hanni blamed her mother? Because hanni was the one who seemed most invested in being freed from hybe. She was the one who spoke about I-DLE not greeting them, and who fueled all that drama with Min Hee-jin. If I had to bet on someone being kicked out, it would have been hanni. We do not know what is happening internally, but many fans claim that newjeans without all 5 members does not really feel like newjeans, and they are against the group continuing without all the original members or adding new ones. I assume hybe's plan is to see what Minji decides, whether she stays or leaves, and if she stays I think they will move forward with the 4 members, and if she leaves they may add 1 or 2 more members who are very talented and charismatic. Maybe the public will not accept them as much as Minji and Danielle, but the company has to continue the group because it generates a huge amount of money. I have seen people who think that being out of newjeans is a victory for Danielle, and nothing could be further from the truth. She wanted to leave Adore but continue in the music industry with her members, and that is no longer possible, because now the others will continue as newjeans while she will be going from court to court trying not to end up with a $30 million debt at just 20 years old. This is absolutely not a favorable situation, and even if some people do not understand how after Adore fought so hard to keep the girls they ended up expelling one of them, it actually does make sense. Adore wanted to prove that they did not do any of the things they were accused of, and in the end the members were unable to prove their claims, so legally hybe is considered innocent and newjeans never had valid grounds to break their contract. With all of this on the table, hybe can decide that even if they are legally able to retain a member under a valid signed contract, they do not want to do so anymore because they no longer trust that person, in this case Danielle. One thing does not contradict the other and both can coexist. I do not know what will happen in the coming days, but I hope everything returns to some sense of normality, and that everyone ends up where they truly want to be.
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. It would help me a lot. See ya.